Welcome back to Bullet Catcher Gaming. This is, of course, Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I'm joined again today by the legendary pair, which is Jeremy from DangerCloseDigital.com and our regular gun expert on the channel, and also Sandy, our other gun expert on the channel, serving member of the British Armed Forces. So respect to him. Both of them are joining me again today. We did say that we could have another follow-up video for you. We've actually got two, but in this first one, we thought we'd really go through some very interesting things. And just quickly, before I go any further, I will say, Sebastian Heathcote, you're going to need to watch this one right to the very end because we've got something special for you right at the end. So this video is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be all about some unusual things that we would like to see added into Breakpoint. We have a Discord. If you'd like to join it, link is in the description below. And jump on in there, and you can see Sandy's armory is on there, and this is where he puts all of his pictures, and you can make requests to have him make even more. Gentlemen, how are you? Are you both good?
Yeah, good.
Oh yeah, doing
Fantastic.
great, thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here, as always. Do appreciate it. So let's get underway. So the very first one that we're going to be covering in here, and these are things that people have asked for across a multitude of videos for over 6 months. The first one is the AT4, as you can see right here. Now, we don't really have a Jeremy scale like on our normal weapons for these, do we, Jeremy? So, Sandy, you said that the grenade launcher damage in game currently was 350 damage. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay, so how about we work on a basis of that is the kind of, you know, that's our ballpoint. We know that a grenade launcher is 350 damage. So we imagine that if these were brought in, they would be put. This one would be put on the weapon wheel. To put in like your rocket launcher or whatever. What do you think they'd give this damage wise?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is difficult.
Probably double of what they would do of the grenade launcher, I think. So if baseline is 350, then I would say 700.
I could see that. Yeah, I was pretty much going to say something like that, between 600 and 700, but I'd go 700. What do you think, Sandy?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Nice job creating it as well, by the way.
And
it is crazy, isn't it, that we hardly have anything like this in the game. There's so few kind of explosive kind of elements in the game. You know, one rocket launcher, a couple of underbarrel grenade launchers, the strike designator. That's pretty much it, isn't it? Am I missing anything? That's pretty much it, isn't it?
That's about the gist of it.
Yeah. It's crazy that that's all we've got. But okay, so that was the AT4. Let's see what Sandy came up with next. So the second one that he's done is the 81mm mortar. This looks awesome. Right, I must admit, I'm not a mortar expert. So the 81mm, a higher damage than the rocket launcher?
I would say it's about the same. It's just launched differently.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And do you think, in terms of how do you think they would deal with the mortar? Do you think it would be on the weapon wheel like a strike designator, or do you think it would be they would utilize it differently under a class or something like that? Not that I think we'll get any new classes, but
I mean, if you think about it, I would imagine that you couldn't have a mortar and a rocket launcher and an AT4 all at the same time. I think you would just select which is going to be your HE weapon, and then that would be the one that you equip when you put the HE weapon on your wheel. So I would imagine that the AT4 or the 81mm would be your selectable HE weapon, high explosives, and you know, whatever you have configured for that weapon slot would be what you pull out. That's how I see
that makes
it.
No, that makes perfect sense, actually.
Yeah.
Perfect sense. Okay, so on to the next one then. And this was something that we've seen lots of times. This is the RPG 7. Looks beautiful. You've done an amazing job creating that. But this is, it gets asked for all the time. And it's surprising that there aren't more things like this in the game. Well, what do you think damage-wise? What do you think they'd give this? I think, I automatically think Russian weapon, they're going to give it less. But a lot of the Russian weapons in the game are actually quite high on the damage. So what do you guys think?
I think this would be equivalent to the underbarrel 40mm grenade launcher. It is.
You think they'd stick
it
at
is
about,
a grenade.
about 350? Yes, true. Yes, so that would make sense for them to. And lots of people have noticed what we talked about in a previous video, that a lot of the reskinned weapons and things like that are being given the same statistics. You know, when we were talking about that 416 on the previous video.
Yeah.
So yeah, they probably would just go grenade launcher. This is a grenade, 350. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, definitely. But it's really well done. So well done. Got something really interesting here. So this next one is the X26C, which is a taser pistol. Now, tasers have been brought up in features videos that we've made. People said they'd like to see a taser. Be interesting to see how it worked. I'm not sure Ubisoft would bother animating tasered AI.
Oh, I think they would. I think they would treat it like the electric gun on the Echelon class, except for it would be non-fatal.
Yeah, true, absolutely. So in terms of damage, then it's obviously going to be very low, isn't it? Because it's not, you're not trying to kill anyone with it. So what do you think they'd give it?
Technically, it should be 0.
It should be 0, but this is Ubisoft. I think they'd give it 5 or something.
Well, then 5 million. What the hell?
Yeah, then 5 million. The dartboard
the
of damage.
Dartboard of damage. That's right.
But really interesting, and people would love, people have said they really want to see a taser in the game. So yeah, that's an awesome one. Okay, another explosive one this time. We've got the Law 80. Really nice job again, Sandy. Well done.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
I'd love to see this in the game. Well, I see all of these in the game, actually. What do you think then?
Again, I would say 700.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, 700 kind of makes sense. Stick to that same principle of what we were talking about. Okay, so this one's a little bit different. So we've now got the G56. Now, Sandy, I know that you know quite a bit about this gun. So do you want to just explain to people who may not know what it is?
I mean, it's a concept weapon that I found online. The premise being that the backstory to this was it theoretically was created in 2023 between H&K and Chris Vector to create a new weapon for the US Army. It looks futuristic, but not too futuristic. You know, the concepts all seem like things that could be made in the near future.
I agree.
It's
just I think it's really nice looking. It looks like it would fit in the game as well, to be honest. I could see this appearing in the game. So what do you think they would... I presume that this was, even though it's fictional, it's a fictional 5.56, isn't it?
I believe it was 7.62.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a 308 meg. All right, so I have to say it. I'm going to say it. Absolutely beautiful work, Cindy, as always. But as a Vector owner and a Vector lover, this picture makes me want to kick a puppy.
Is it sacrilegious, is it?
It's sacrilegious. It burns my eyes.
Yeah.
So what do you think then? What would they give this in-game damage-wise, do you think? About 32?
Yeah. Yeah, it seems to be about the average for their 308 offerings. I would say 32.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Okay, right. So now we've got a slightly different variation of what we showed earlier. So we've now got the M72 Law. Beautifully created, Sandy. Love it. I presume we're all going to go the same. 700.
I mean, following Ubisoft's demonstration of lack of creativity, I'm going to have to go with the 700 again.
700. Yeah. Okay. So we'll stick to the 700 on the law, but beautifully created. So we have another mortar now, but this is the 60mm mortar. So, like I said, I haven't got a clue about mortar damage. I'll be honest with you. So we said that the 81 mil was a 700. Would this make any difference? Would they drop the damage on this?
Yeah,
because otherwise, what would be?
Yeah,
they have to, because there was. So what, about 500?
I'd say about 550.
550.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Because otherwise, what would be the point of having it? But it would be nice though if you had. Well, it'd be nice to have a mortar in game, but have the two options. One, did a lot more damage than the other. This one could be a bit more.
Maybe we should talk about how they would implement the mortar.
So how do you think they would?
I envision it being very similar to when you bring up the Pathfinder drone, but instead of being moving, it would be fixed, and you could select your target areas, and they would give you maybe 5 mortars. You drop them in time, pop them out, and then once all 5 of them are exhausted, you automatically come back out of that screen. That's how I would do it.
No, that makes sense, because effectively they've already created that system. So that makes perfect sense. No, I like that idea. Really good idea. Really good idea. Okay, so next up, we've got another taser, which is the X12 taser. Anyone know anything about this weapon? Because I don't.
Nope, but it makes me tickle in my belly looking at it.
So it never really went into mainstream production. Ian McCollum has done a video on it. So Gun Jesus knows.
Yeah, but his channel is awesome.
Yeah, to be fair, yeah.
It is a cool channel.
But yeah, it was also trialled. I don't know if you know this, but it was actually trialled in the UK.
No, I don't know anything about this gun. So
do you remember the Ralmo incident?
Yeah, of course.
I believe there was a shotgun taser used in that incident.
Oh, okay, and it was either similar to this or this version.
Yeah, I don't know if it was this version, but I know that there was a shotgun taser being trialled at the time.
Okay.
That then never got taken on.
Okay. So do you think they would give this the same damage as the pistol? Do you think because it's a taser they would just give it 0 or 5 or whatever is he thought? Or do you think because it's a shotgun?
Well, it's non-lethal, so they don't even really need to register damage. So again, I would say it'd probably be 0.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, this next one is badass. The M134 or the M134 minigun. That looks incredible. Beautiful work, Sandy. Now, I'm presuming so many people have actually brought this up before, gone comments about why you can't kill a heavy and pick up his weapon. And this is basically, Sandy, why you created it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
To have it. So you can't go and get a blueprint effectively for this gun. That's how we think it would work the best.
Yeah.
But you could pick it up off of a heavy once you killed them.
Yeah, and maybe have 300 to 400 rounds, but once you expended the rounds, that was that. You couldn't just go around picking more ammo up every time for normal guys.
I agree.
I think
have a single nutsack on there, and once it's done, it's done.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. So, Jeremy, what do you think damage-wise that they would give this then?
Well, this one is a 7.62, so on my scale, that would be a 26 per round.
But let's now put yourself in Ubisoft's shoes. There's no way that they're going to give it a low damage, are they? They're going to look at it and go, "Ooh."
Yeah, they're gonna look at that and get all giggly and shit.
So I could see them putting it something crazy like 200.
Yeah, I still think that's wrong. It should be counted per hit, and per hit it should carry the standard.
I think it'll be low. I think it'll be 31. Low for a machine gun. Yeah, I think between 30 and 40.
Well, all I know is that when you use the minigun in the helicopter and you're shooting on ground targets, sometimes it feels like you have to hit people like 15, 20 times before they actually die when you're using the minigun.
Yep.
It takes forever to kill someone.
In their defense, they did tweak that quite a bit, and it doesn't take nearly as much anymore.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot better. I'll give you that. Okay.
I could totally see this weapon with a couple perks on it. You know, the plus 30 laser-like aiming from the hip perk that the heavies seem to have. And then the miraculous not 2 but 3 hits to the head perk. That would keep you from dying until the 3rd headshot.
100%. No, good idea. Okay, so next up, we have another grenade launcher. We have the M202. I love this. See, I want to see this in the game. I want to see a character walking around with this thing, sitting on his shoulder, thinking that you're John Matrix.
I want one for an EDC. My everyday carry could be that. And a knife. And a knife, of course.
Of course. So, 350 then, because of what it's firing? Yeah, sticking to the 350?
Yep.
Okay. It's so nicely done, though, Sandy. Honestly, I love it. This is something that came up, this next one, in a previous video. The M320 grenade launcher. So many people asked for this in the guns that you want in-game video that we did. No idea. Obviously, it is in the game, but you can't use it how you're supposed to use it. And I don't understand why they have done that. It's very frustrating. So what do you think? What do you think they'd end up giving this?
Just standard grenade 350.
Yeah.
Yeah, standard grenade sticking to the same kind of scale.
Yeah,
that makes
the boring Ubisoft scale. Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. I don't know a lot about this one, but I love it. The next one is the M640. Very unusual looking, but very breakpoint looking in a way.
Yeah.
You know, we said this before.
The
in previous videos that I think if this was on a wall with pictures, they'd go, "Ooh, what's that? We want that," and they'd try and put it in the game somehow. Obviously, it's a grenade launcher again, so I presume we're all going to agree on 350 again, as it's a grenade launcher. Yeah, fantastic though, and I know I keep saying this, but really excellent work, Sandy. Okay, so this is going to be the last one. This is an assault rifle. This has come up a few times. Sandy, you can tell us a little bit about how you put it together and why you chose this one. It's the GRFS OICW. What made you pick this one?
Probably one of two things. One, it's commonly asked for, and two, given the 20-year anniversary this year, it just seems fitting that to bring something back for one of the older games that people will recognise for that kind of the older generation of gamers.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, makes sense.
That hurt a little bit. But yeah, I mean, this totally grabs me by the short and curlies, because I mean, the OICW and the Shrike were my absolute two favorite ones in the original Ghost Recon, and this is perfect. You did a really good job on this.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. You did do a brilliant job. So what do we think damage-wise? What would they give it?
Oh, that'd be pretty scary. I don't know. Maybe 29.
Well, that depends on which barrel you're firing. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I would assume it's going to be a 5.56, judging by the magazine.
Yeah.
So, then on my scale, that would be an 18.
Yeah.
But on the UB scale, I would say 27, 29, just because of the scary looking factor.
I agree. I'd probably go 29. They'll add a couple on for the scary factor, I think. Yeah, I agree.
But what about the 20mm at the back? So obviously you've got your second magazine there for the mini. Is it, I believe, a mini grenade launcher? Was that how it was? Ported at the time?
Yes, it was configured with grenade launcher at the time. As a 20mm, I would say probably 250, 275. Oh, you think they go that long? Well, I was taking in consideration the scary part.
I just
you know how they like to do it sometimes. It doesn't. They don't make sense. With
theoretically, it should be right around 200, but I gave it a little extra boost because they don't know what the hell they're doing, so they would just.
This is true. Okay, so those are the ones that we had for the video. Hoping you enjoyed all of those and Sandy's great work. Just for some things that people have been asking for, something different as opposed to just normal weapons. But before we head off from this video, we want to show something for Mr. Sebastian Heathcote, who has been commenting on a lot of these videos of late. So we've got something very special for you. Sandy made these just for you. The first one is the underbarrel fleshlight.
Yes.
Now, you may have heard us talk about fleshlight attachments before, obviously, and it was Mr. Sebastian Heathcote that brought this up as a joke initially, and we thought it would be fun. So Sandy created the underbarrel fleshlight, as you can see here. He then also created for you, Sebastian, the underbarrel fleshlight shorty, as you can see right here. And Jeremy, I know you're dying to say this, so I'm gonna lead you in with it before we show the next one. Actually, as we show the next one, the AK underbarrel fleshlight. Now, another one for you, Sebastian. Jeremy, what do you think they would give this damage-wise?
Well, I have done some research on my fleshlight underbarrels, and I have a little background on them. Now, these were all prototypes at one point. However, they were never put into service due to the amount of accidental groin injuries. But they are fairly
I thought you were going to say accidental discharge.
Well, that's part of it too. So I did my research and I did find out some stats on them. So normally I measure things in joules. This one, however, is going to be measured in what we call the WAP scale, and accordingly with the size of the munitions, I'm going to say the damage is going to be right around 69.
Yeah. Perfect. And so we've also got the AK-47 assault version that is that Sandy put together. Seeing it on the weapon there, that looks amazing. And as we sign out and say thank you so much for watching, do appreciate it. And I hope Sebastian enjoyed these. We've also got the A2 with the fleshlight attachment here as
My personal favorite.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Hope you enjoyed that. We will be back for another one of these in a few days' time. And we're going to be looking at some classic weapons that people have asked for, some old school stuff. So from all three of us, we do appreciate you watching. Take care, and we will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.